goody guys? Welcome back to Wind Down with Books with your girl Kay. I'm so sorry that I haven't been posting. Work has been kicking my butt, so I just don't have the energy to make videos. I've definitely been reading, but it's just hard to make the videos. But nevertheless, we're back. You know your girl has her wine, and as you can see by the title, we are reviewing We Are Not Like Them. I definitely enjoyed this read. I enjoyed this read a lot. One of the reasons why I enjoyed this read because I had a similar situation that occurred, and because of the situation, that if you read the book, then you'll know. Well, we'll get into it. I lost a friend that I considered a good friend. So it definitely resonated within me, and you know, I enjoyed the book. But anyways, let's just jump into it. I'm not gonna go into several details. I'm gonna just tell basically the synopsis, and I'll tell you a little bit about my little situation. But anyway, so the main characters, we have Riley and Jen. Riley is African American, Jen is Caucasian. Now, Riley and Jen, they have been friends since they were kindergarten. They grew up in the same neighborhood. Riley comes from a good family, you know, two-parent household. She's very close with her grandmother, right? Jen, unfortunately, her mom was there, but she was like a non-existent mom. Like, her presence just didn't matter. You know, she didn't grow up with a caring mom, a attentive mom. Like, she basically had to fend for herself. So when Jen was younger, you know, she grew close to Riley's family, and you know, she became one of the family members. You know, she didn't, as you know, when you're a kid, you know, you're not really looking at race as a separation. Like, you just care for people who care for you, and that's how it was between Jen and Riley. So they grew up just close, connected, right? So as they're older now, Riley is aspiring to be on the news. You know, she wants to lead anchor. She just moved back to their hometown. Forgot the hometown, not really important. And Jen has been living in the same hometown. She's married to a police officer named Kevin. Now, Kevin has been on the job, what is it, like 3 or 4 years? So, you know, he's established, right? So since Riley moved back into town, you know, Jen and believe that their friendship is gonna grow closer, because you know, long distance friendship sometimes it suffers, but you know, if you real friends, that bond will remain the same no matter what. So Riley moves back. She has an opportunity to shadow another African American anchor who's getting ready, I guess, getting retired or pushed out. If you get what I'm saying, like when you're not young anymore, they try to give you the door. So she has the opportunity to do lead anchor, right? So it's been like a couple weeks or a month since Riley's been back. So Jen and Riley decided to meet up for lunch, right? So I should also mention that Jen going through some financial problems and fertility problems, right? Kevin is not really making any money. So when they meet up, Riley is happy to see Jen. She definitely is happy to see Jen. And Jen is pregnant. Riley loaned Jen money to do, you know, fertility stuff, you know, so she could get pregnant. You know, they're going through some financial problems. That's a real friend. Like, Riley is really a real one. She didn't even think twice about the situation, right? So at this time, Riley is also dealing with her grandmother being sick, but Jen loves Riley's grandmother. Riley's grandmother is a woman that's full of wisdom, and I really love the grandmother's character. Like, she's a real one, right? So anyways, fast forward, Jen and Riley's at lunch. They talking, catching up. You know, you could feel the vibe. The friendship is a little different, but you know, they, at the end of the day, they realize why they are friends, how much they miss each other, right? At the same time, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Jen is either a text or call she gets, right? No, she got a text. Was it a text or call? One of them, whatever. So she gets a call or a text, can't remember which one. I read this book a minute ago, and she's like, oh my God, I gotta go. So she doesn't tell Riley why she has to go. She just gets up and runs out of the restaurant. So Riley's sitting there like what the hell? Like, what's going on? What's going on, right? So meanwhile, prior to the two ladies meeting for lunch, I should have mentioned this first, but let me just get his name before I say anything. I don't want to give my man The wrong name. Hold on. All right. So the book begins with a young 14-year-old boy named Justin Dwyer. He's walking home from school. He's going through an alley. He has music in his ears. He's bopping. My man is bumping, right? So at the same time, a robbery takes place. Two officers run into the alley. The first officer, he's a rookie cop, mistake Justin for the burglar, and Justin has the music in his ear, so he's not hearing anything. He's not hearing the officer say turn around or something like that, right? So when he goes to pull out his ears, his phone, whatever, to turn around, see what's going on, my man gets shot multiple times, right? So the veteran officer runs to him. He's telling him, hold on, you're gonna make it, this and the third. But Justin is like, his life is coming out of him, right? So he gets taken to the hospital. So you already know. So it's two white cops shooting an unarmed 14-year-old boy at that. Not even a man, a 14-year-old boy. No questions asked. They're not even casing the scene. And on top of that, Justin didn't even fit the description. Right? He didn't fit the description. So that really pissed me off. Like when I read that part, I cried. I cried. Because we see this in our society time and time again. I'm not gonna get too deep into that because I could go on and on and on, but I cried. I cried. So anyways, so now we fast forward to Riley. So Riley's sitting in the restaurant, what's going on? At the same time, Riley's boss from the news station like, yo, get over here, we got a story. So Riley rushing, right? Boom, she gets to this news station, they fill her in, a 14-year-old boy gets shot by two cops. So then that's when it hit Riley like, yo, Jen ran out. Like, come to find out, it's Jennifer's husband, Kevin, who shot the boy, right? So this is how the scenario took place. Justin's walking home. They get the two officers chasing the burglar. They mistake Justin. Well, the rookie cop runs into the alley first, right? Took off running, left Kevin. So Kevin's behind the rookie cop. So the rookie cop didn't even give Justin a chance. He just started firing. Justin turned around. They mistaken his phone or headphones, whatever, for a gun. He didn't even give my boy a chance, right? Shoots him. Kevin runs in the alley, doesn't even think twice. He doing backup for the rookie cop, and he just starts shooting and shoot at Justin. When they stop shooting, that's when they realize like, oh, it's not the suspect, right? So Kevin was the one who went to Justin while he was holding his hand, telling him like, hold on, it's gonna be okay, this and the third, because he already knew they fucked up, they done messed up. He already knew what time it was, what was about to go down, right? So all in all, Jen finds out that it's her man. Like, her man did what he did. Like, he shot this boy unarmed, right? So she's like, you just shot a kid. Like, she doesn't really know how to process it. At the same time, Riley is like this is Kevin, but Riley's on the type of timing like, it is what it is. Like, I'm gonna have to distance myself a little bit. I don't know how to feel. Should I call Jen? This is an unarmed boy. He got gunned down. Basically she didn't really pick a side, but she picked a side. She picked the right side. Right is right, wrong is wrong. This unarmed young boy got murdered, right? So anyways, so Jen now is trying to figure out, like, looking at her husband different. Her husband's, they end up fast forwarding on, he's on leave, they trying to figure out they're gonna get indicted or whatever. During this time, Riley and Jen's friendship take a turn for the worse, right? Cause Jen is on the type of time, and I understand Riley, right? That I understand that my husband did this, but Kevin. Kevin wouldn't do this. You know the type of person Kevin is. You know how we are. Like, he didn't mean it. It was an accident. It wasn't really his fault. Riley's on the other type of timing, like, it doesn't matter. Like, he did this. He shot a young boy. So this is where the racial divide comes into play, right? So now Jen and Riley's relationship start taking a turn because they realize like race is the barrier. They never had the conversation about race, right? And Jen still is unaware of the fact that she has privilege, right? And it's not always about her. Although the so what's the word I'm trying to look for? What's the words, right? Jen is the type of person that no matter the situation, she always make it about her. Like, I understand this is going on, but I feel this way. I shouldn't be having to go through this. I. Jen refuses to take a step back and realize, like, yo, this mother is suffering because of what your husband did, right? It's not about you. So what? He's being ridiculed in the media. So what? This young boy lost his life countless times. Countless times. Like other countless in black men, black women who have lost their life, and you steady wondering what's gonna happen to you and Kevin. Riley's like in her head, you and Kevin, and I'm like, you and Kevin, right? So Riley decides to distance herself because she's trying to figure out, like, you know, she wants to be, also she's the godmother of Jen's baby. She wants to be there for Jen, but she also needs Jen to understand, like, you not understanding the situation at hand and what's really going on, and you don't understand race. Because they never had the conversation, it's like that barrier is gonna be put up. And on top of that, one point in the book, the media when it first happened, the media came to Jennifer's house and Jen went outside and Jen was like, how you gonna call me a racist? My best friend is black. So now you know that pissed Riley off, right? Because at the end of the day, you using your black friend to as a shield, and that's not okay. So Riley, at one point in the book, Riley had confronted her about it. She's like, but you are my best friend and you are black. And Jen saw no wrong in what she said. And I was just like, you see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, just because you have a black friend doesn't mean that you're not racist. Just because you have a black friend doesn't mean that you don't exude microaggressions, that you don't have no role in the racism that is presented in the system in society today. I cannot find my words, right? Anyway, so at one point, Riley did an interview with Justin's mom after he passed away. He didn't pass away right then and there. He passed away in the hospital from his injuries, right? So she did the interview, and Riley felt really empowered. Like, Riley needed to be there. Riley is on the type of timing, like, you know, it's hitting her hard. Not just his death, but the death of so many and her ancestors. At one point in the book, her grandmother did tell her, like, you know, you had a family member who was lynched, killed, murdered. And it broke her down, and the whole situation is resonating in Riley, but not good. And she's having a difficult time. The whole time, Jen is only really worried about herself, and then she really wants the comfort of Riley, but at the same time, she thinks that, you know, Riley's not understanding her situation. And I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think that Riley was understanding her situation, but Riley was just like, you know what, you have done this our whole entire friendship. Like, you have used me as a shield countless times, and I'm tired of it. And this situation brought up memories of how Jen used their friendship and her being black to her advantage, and Jen failed to acknowledge that. And I was just like, damn, like damn. No matter what situation, you can have a black friend, you can have a white friend. They can go up together in the same conditions, but in the same environment, whatever you call it. At the same time, that white person will always have more privilege than that black person. That's not an opinion, that is a fact, right? So fast forward, you know, Kevin is really distraught. He's hurt about what's going on. You know, his lawyer's basically saying, like, you really did nothing wrong. You was just following protocols. The rookie who did all I'm stuttering. So it was the rookie who didn't assess the scene, the situation, and he just acted, and you followed, right? So long story short, you know, Kevin is debating whether to testify against his partner, in which, you know, he won't go to jail. He'll probably be on probation. He won't be a cop anymore, but, you know, he'll get off, and the rookie has to do some time in jail. So they debating. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Long story short, Kevin decides to do the right thing, right? He testifies against the rookie. Him and Jen ends up moving away. You know, Jen and Riley, when Jen went into labor or whatever, they eventually started talking again, but the friendship, we already know the friendship is not the same. But Riley, she's gonna be there for Jen no matter what. The rookie cop goes to jail. At the same time, Kevin had wrote a letter to Justin's mom, basically saying, you know, what I did, it doesn't make up for it. I'm extremely sorry, but I just want you to know, Justin didn't die alone. I'm not asking for forgiveness. But I just have to tell you this, right? So Riley delivers the letter to Justin's mom. You know, she reads it, but at the end of the day, she's not trying to forgive. Like, her son is dead. Like, that's that. Her son is dead. They just had a son, and at the same time, you know, it's like, where does that leave me, right? In the book, you know, Justin's mom confronted Jen when they went into the courthouse, and, you know, Jen was like, I'm really sorry, this, that, third, understand that, and the mother kind of went off on her, as she should, because Jen didn't know her fucking place, and Jen should just shut up and not say anything. Like, are you dumb? But anyways, so, you know, throughout the book, their friendship definitely took a turn, and I feel like because of this situation, they really saw the underlying problems that their friendship had, and that the foundation that their friendship was built on was never really going to stand as they got older, because Jen was unable to recognize her privilege and the little microaggressions that she exhibit against Riley. And Riley, at one point, you know, it kind of pissed me off because Riley never really spoke up. Like, she recognized stuff, but she's like, oh, because Jen is my friend, I'm not going to say nothing. She never really spoke up until a situation started happening, and it was boiling over, and then she finally exploded. And I was just like, it's about time, but damn, like, you let this joint really sit. And I was just like, you know, had you guys had a conversation about race and the little microaggressions that Jen was exhibiting towards you, then maybe some level of understanding could have been reached. But it took this situation for you guys to have this conversation. I was just like, you know, it was long overdue, but it needed to happen, right? You know, nobody really looked at Jen different in Riley's family. It was more so her husband. You know, Kevin could be kind of an asshole. I don't really think they really like Kevin at that, but at the same time, you know, Jen finally understood a little bit towards the end, like, you know, it's not all about her. She has to recognize what role she plays and what part she like her race plays in situations in our society where black men and black women are not safe from police officers, and it's a racial divide. Like, she came to a level of understanding. It wasn't enough for me, in my opinion. Like, I needed sis to really recognize, like, yo, this is what it is. This is how black women, black men are feeling each and every day. Their loved ones are being murdered countless times over several generations. And it's never going to end, right? So towards the end, like, I thought the ending was cool. Like, I am glad that they kind of was able to rekindle the friendship, and it was able to kind of stand a little bit of the trials and tribulation that it went through. I just don't think that, you know, the elephant in the room between them was resolved. I just don't think that. But I really like the book. For, like, when my situation, like, this is what happened, right? When George Floyd was murdered in 2020, you know, I'm a social worker, right? But before I'm a social worker, I'm a black woman, and I'm gonna always stand for my black people, right? So I'm always, you know, on social media advocating for my people. And, you know, George Floyd murder, like many other people, it hit us hard. You know, we watched this man get murdered. So when I went away to college, that was my first experience being exposed to a number of white people. Where I'm from, I wasn't exposed to white people. Like, that's just what it was. So when I went away to undergrad, my school was kind of predominantly, not really predominantly white, but it was a lot of Caucasian people there. So it was my first time being exposed to a lot of white people in one vicinity, and it was a lot. Honestly, it was a lot for me, because you don't know how to act. I feel like my parents were scared for me in a little bit, you know, but you know, they was also happy. But it was a different scene for me, right? But if you know me in real life, then you know I can make friends with anybody. Like, I'm just happy. I like to have fun. It is what it is. And I played a lot of sports, so a lot of my teams, I was on it with a lot of Caucasian people, and for the most part, a lot of them was cool. You know, a lot of them was cool. So it was like a different exposure for me, right? So, I had a friend. I'm not gonna say any names, right? We grew very, very, very close. Like, I looked at her like that was my little big sis, right? Okay, she's Caucasian. She's mixed for the most part, mixed, right? And we grew very, very close. So when George Floyd got murdered, I was protesting, I was posting on social media, I was doing all that. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm a person, I say what I said, I mean what I say. I'm not gonna take it back. I'm gonna stand up for my people. I don't care who like it. I don't care how long we've been friends. It is what it is, right? So me and her, and also a number of other white people that I was cool with. I lost a number of white friends because of George Floyd's murder. Not really because of George Floyd's murder, just their mindset, right? So, but this one really hit me hard because we was really close. So when he got murdered, whatever, I was posting, and you know the lyrics to NWA's song, Fuck the Police, right? So I had posted the lyrics to that. So for a whole week, right, this person has said nothing about George Floyd's murder, no racial divides, no standing with Black Lives Matter, nothing. Hasn't posted nothing, right? Nothing. The minute I posted Fuck the Police, I get a long text message that is saying what it was. So, you know, me being me, if I care for you, and I feel like you coming at me because I care for you, I'm gonna take a step back and I'm gonna reread before I respond, right? So, long story short, I responded like, I understand how you feel, but this is how I feel. I said what I said. I'm not taking it back. And I just don't understand why you saying this and you haven't posted anything, but this bothered you, whatever, right? Mind you, I'm still being respectful. I get a response back. You just not understanding. You can't say that. I feel like you disrespected me, disrespected my family, this, that, and the third. I'm just like, what? So we stopped talking from that situation. Because I really cared. I had hit her up a couple months after, and you know, it was just never the same. We never got to a place where there was a level of understanding, because I still felt that I was being unheard. It was, I get this is going on, but this is how I feel, and I don't really speak on how I feel because people be feeling away, and it's just like, you're not listening to what I'm saying. And if you do understand what I'm saying, do you do understand why, like countless others, why we are mourning, why we are hurt? You're not trying to understand that. And from there, the friendship it was dead. Like, it couldn't be revived. It was dead. And I looked at that and I was just like, you know, we never had that conversation about race. Like, I never even thought to have that conversation, right? And then after the situation happened, I was just like damn, like you really see people true colors, especially when the person doesn't identify with the same race as you, when certain situations happen. And then when I was reading the book, it really brought back those emotions, because I'm like when you friends with somebody, like, that really hurt. You know what I'm saying? And when you can't understand where someone's coming from, is like F out of here. Like, nah, I don't care about you. But you still care. But it's just like, you know, I look at that situation, I'm just like, I see why a lot of my peers who identify with the same race as me are skeptical to be friends with people that's outside of their race, because there's a disconnect when it comes to understanding where that person is coming from. You will never be able to fill someone else's shoes who's outside your race, but you can have understanding, right? You can have empathy. You can try to learn. You can try to say, and look within yourself and say, okay, how am I contributing to the issues that's going on to society? You can look at your own privilege. But the fact that the person didn't do that, it just was like a slap. Like, it was like, we would never be able to rekindle this friendship because you're not trying to understand where I'm coming from. And I was just like, I was reading the book, and it was just like, you know, I get the title. We are not like them. We are not. At the end of the day, no matter what profession an African American is, a person of color is in, no matter how much money you have, you will always be seen as inferior to the white race. And that's a fact, right? No matter what you do, no matter how many accolades you achieve in life, people are always going to treat you based off the color of your skin. And that was real for me. And I do, you know, I feel like for me, it would never stop me from being friends with somebody that's outside of my race. I'm always willing to learn and interact with other people, but it does leave me cautious, you know. And that's why I enjoyed the read. Like, it gave me a different kind of perspective, and just reading the words, it was just like, just to see like the author took the time to really highlight the differences in the relationship between these two, and how race can really create a barrier between two friends who are supposed to be close. And that really hit home. If you read the book, drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think about the book. Let me know what you think about the characters, about how Riley reacted to Jen, how Jen reacted to Riley's hesitancy to communicate with her. I do think that if you do have friends who are the opposite race of you or a different race from you, that those conversations about race should be had. It is important, because you can't be friends with somebody if you don't have a level of understanding of who they are and where they come from, you know. And I definitely think that's important. But anyways, I don't know what the next book review is. I've promised myself that I'm not buying any more books until I finish the books that's on my shelf. But all in all, I appreciate you guys for still supporting. Follow me on TikTok, Wind Down with Books, on Instagram, Wind Down with Books. I promise to make another video. I don't want to wait another 3 weeks, but it's just time. But appreciate the love. Like, share, subscribe. Your girl is out.